us to believe that European Americans will ever educate our children correctly. Ain't no reason in the world. I mean, why would you believe that? What would give you the idea that you could ever convince these people to educate your children right? I don't care how much you protest, how much you demand, they will never do it. What they will end up doing is end up getting some white folks to teach them Afrocentric orientations. Because anybody in their right mind would know that anyone who has systematically blocked you from knowing for 3 centuries will not change overnight, over a year, over a decade, over a score of years, or even over a century. The only way we'll ever be able to really educate our children is to do it ourselves.
Greetings and welcome to another powerful edition of the Community Defender Talk Show. One powerful hour of truth, dispelling falsehood, and of course in keeping with the continuing theme of education. We have somebody else who is not a theorist, not somebody who is in their ivory tower, not understanding what's going on with education, but we have our wonderful brother, Dr. August Malvo, who is in what we call the trenches in college education. Frontier, and I believe, Dr. Malvo, that education is the thing that we have to focus on. That's the thing that's going to get us everything else that we're looking for, and that's that education. And so I wanted to have you here because you are at my alma mater, Southern University. You teach there. You went there in your formative years, and you are right there with our students. So if you could, I guess, tell our viewing audience a little bit about yourself, and we'll get right into the discussion, my brother.
Okay, I've been in that higher education for perhaps around 26 years. I've taught in several types of institutions, and I just think that at this time, coming back to Louisiana after being out of the state for so many years, currently I'm working as assistant professor of history at Southern University, and so much has changed over in higher education in the last 25 years, and hopefully today we'll get an opportunity to talk about some of those changes and some of the things that we have to do as an African American community to address some of the problems, the new problems that are rising in the 21st century.
Well, I don't know if you've experienced this, but at PWIs as well as at HBCUs, there seems to be like a universal complaint among professors about maybe students that need a bit more remediation or preparation. I don't know if you're experiencing that in turn at Southern University with the students that are coming in, but how prepared are the students that are coming in that you come in contact with for that collegiate level?
Well, let me say this. First of all, for many years, the historical black college and university didn't spend too much time, many of them wondering about the preparedness of students coming into the system. We were always from the idea that as the students come in, we will educate them where they are and bring them where they need to be. Mm-hmm. And we had always had this, and when you look at many historical black colleges and universities, mm-hmm. you see that mission. You take a school like Southern University, established right after Reconstruction. Mm-hmm. You see people who were sons and daughters of slaves who came to the institution, and their lives was transformed. So the historical black colleges are those sacred places in American educational landscape, and we have so many different, a lot of diversity, and whether it's Southern University or FAMU or any other institution, we have transformed lives of African Americans from all walks of life.
And that is awesome. So basically, it doesn't really matter because you're going to meet the student where they are, the students where they are, and then you're going to move them to where they need to be, in keeping with the mission of HBCUs, which is to provide people with the opportunity to get a good education. And that's something that HBCUs for the most part have not been these elitist institutions. But as Dr. Dolores Spikes, the late Dr. Dolores Spikes said,
Right.
he said many years ago that Southern University is a people's institution serving the state, the nation, and the world. So when, earlier when we talked, you talked about a number of problems with education, and I guess the changing dynamic. We covered quite a few things, and of course we'll get to the advent of ChatGPT and AI and the impact of that. But if you could talk about some of those things that you see that maybe we need to overcome in higher education.
I think right now the historical black colleges and universities right now are really experiencing exceptional growth right now in terms of having more students in terms of enrollment, the growth of enrollment, and I think that a lot of that has to do with some of the things that's happening within the larger society. Mm-hmm. And let me just say this, we have some challenges at certain colleges and universities that takes place everywhere. And we have to do our best to address those challenges through dialogue. Shows like this, sit downs where we can hatch out and express what we really think about what's going on the college campuses, and getting down to what someone would call the nitty gritty, to what really is going on in the college campuses. Mm-hmm. So I'm very enthused about what's going on in Southern University. I'm very enthused about the growth, the leadership, and I'm very enthused about how we are dealing with certain situations, addressing whether it's having enrollment in certain parts of this process all in one area to make sure that the student services are actually being aligned. We are doing those type of things at Southern University. And like any institution, we have room for improvement. But I'd like to say that in the state of Louisiana, there's so much going on. It has been going on for higher education. Higher education budgets have been changed from decade to decade. So we're calling on right now, as we've been calling on for previous decades, for more funding toward our institutions and perhaps having people out in the community understand some of the challenges that we go through as an institution, being tuition driven and relying on a certain segment of fund coming from the state and federal government. Okay, whether it's Pell Grant or federal staff loans or even a Hope Scholarship or what have you, all of those things are factoring in terms of our budget and our what we can do for our students.
Absolutely, and of course, a bigger budget means better service for our student, and it also means that salaries can, of course, keep good faculty there. So economics is real big as it relates to all of that. Now, of course, tuition is a lot more than it used to be when I was at Southern University years ago, decades ago when I was at Southern University. When I came to Southern University in the 80s, it's a lot different. We were, I was taking 18 hours for maybe $700 and spending maybe $200 or $300 on my books, and I was all in for $1,000, and that's something that I was able to do, working fast food and then bussing tables at night, and you literally at that time could work your way through college. Now, of course, things have changed such that that dynamic it's a lot different. So and I don't know how that's impacted, because I know that the university is growing, but it where it was 40 years ago, we need to, I guess, expand from where we were 40 years ago. We're just not quite there.
I want to address that. One thing that I did notice that the cost of education in the state of Louisiana has went up drastically, coming from the Louisiana Board of Regents or what have you, and trickled down to those state institutions, those state systems or whatever. So what we have done, we have some people have advocated for Southern University over the years to try to do things to get people to understand that we want to service most students, okay? And we want to reduce the cost as much as we can. And when one of the things that came about is what is called OER. OER is Open Educational Resources. So you might take a class at Southern University, and you might not have a traditional book. You might have a book that's online.
Okay.
A free book, an open educational resource, which has the same information as a traditional textbook. This will prevent students from have to purchase a book out of pocket. So there's those type of things. And one thing about Southern University and many historical black colleges, we have our own brand of education. We're not just an institution filled with black people. We have our own brand for education. And one thing that Southern University, when I was there as a student, we pride ourselves that we were matriculation friendly. We have people that are put in certain positions and certain places to help our young people at Southern University succeed. And that was the case with the way it was when I was at Prairie View A&M outside of Houston, Texas, and other institutions that I've taught. But so we have people in place to help young people succeed. If they want to learn, they can learn what they have to learn or what they want to learn at Southern University.
So the opportunity is there. Southern University is still that good environment where you can get as smart and as wise as you want to be, putting forth the effort. You can actually get there.
Well, we're very viable in terms of what we do. We like I say, the brand of the institution. We are matriculation friendly. We cater to students from all walks of life. There's some things that we run across, certain issues we run across has more to do with where we are in the city, where we are in the state, and where we are in terms of the nation. What is going? There's some national things that's going on. There were some national things that was going on with the Department of Education.
Right, absolutely.
Okay. No, not to get too much into it, but there were some other things that were going on that caused some issues at some of our historical black colleges and universities that's outside the purview of some of our leadership. Okay, but that they try to address. But like I say, there's certain things that people are unaware of. But I wish we had a list of things that we can go through. But maybe next time when I come back, we'll go through specifically what those things are. But I want to make some things very clear. Someone mentioned something the other day about athletics. When it comes to sports in America, we all know that the national changes that's going on with players getting deals, okay, NIL deals, and those things are we're trying to stay competitive. Okay, we're trying to stay competitive at a time when other things are taking place that we don't have control over.
Right.
But I'll tell you this: the things that we have control over, we address. We have several projects on campus that are being completed right now. You can come on the campus right now at Southern University and you can see the construction. Okay, you can walk on the campus and see that. Okay, people are excited about the changes that are being brought to Southern University at this time. Okay, now, like I said, When a lot of times when people tell me this, why is this happening? Why is that happening? And I say this: young people are coming to colleges nationwide unprepared. There are disciplinary issues that's going on in many high schools throughout the country. Okay?
Right.
It's been going on since we took discipline, a certain level of discipline, out of the schools. Okay? We have students who are, and people in this, young people who are gravitating toward violence. Okay? And sometimes that trickled down to some colleges and universities. We have done our best to have what we call, to a certain point, no tolerance on our campus.
Mm-hmm.
So you won't find all of that going on at Southern University. Okay, so we have people put in place to address those type of things. Okay, the only thing that's important at any institution, college or university, is learning. All the window dressing, the little programs that people do, that's all fine and dandy. But when you ask young people questions about their major, when you ask them about certain things, that content that they're supposed to learn, that becomes sometimes the elephant in the room. You know, why don't you know this and you're majoring in this? Okay, so one thing all of the historical black colleges and universities, not just Southern University, but all of them need to hear that we want our students to look the part, know the part, and act the part.
That's right.
Okay? When you come on our college campuses where we need to go, we shouldn't be able to see a difference between the seniors, the juniors, and the freshmen. We should be able to see the difference. Okay? Mm-hmm. We have to prepare them for the challenges that awaits them out there in the real world.
That's right.
That's one of the things we have to do. And their communication skills, their writing skills, all of those things have to be aligned with the workforce, with the career paths that they're supposed to be taking. Mm-hmm. So it's about that alignment and trying to get that alignment. It's not about this learning management system or that learning management system. There's some other things, some qualitative things, not necessarily some quantitative things that we need to be addressing at our historical black colleges and universities.
Right. Well, I'm glad that there is, that there are some significant improvements in the infrastructure, and I know that when I was there, there were, of course, since I've graduated, there have been some serious improvements in the infrastructure. The Southern University Law Center, of course, is expanding. The nursing school has been rated #1 in the nation. The bar passage rate of the law center was the highest in the state this past time around. So there are a lot of good things happening at Southern, and we are, as we have always done as black people, we are doing more with less. And I do believe that the leadership at the university is progressive, is looking to prepare the institution for the future, right? Because the institution has to be prepared for the future in order for it to prepare its students for the future. And it seems to me, just based upon what I have gotten from students who attend, is that the customer service or the student service aspect of Southern University has much improved. Not that it was ever bad, but it looks like it's good and it's getting better. And I think if we can retain our students and continue to improve our graduation rate, I think that the future is bright for Southern University in particular, and HBCUs in general, because with the quote unquote attack on what is known as affirmative action, to where qualified blacks are given an avenue to go to these, but with those things are being cut off, then I guess a lot of people are looking at HBCUs and Southern University in particular as an option of, the tried and true. When you consider the fact that the first two black Congress people to go to Washington D.C. Both graduated from Southern University, and they were both SGA presidents at Southern University. You understand? So Southern University is making a remarkable contribution to the state. Southern University Law Center is about to take over the whole Louisiana judiciary in just a few years. We just keep our graduates keep winning elections for judge.
Right.
So we're doing a lot of good things at Southern University. Now, you had actually had expressed some frustration with the AI / chat GPT thing, and maybe if you could elaborate, because you, like 1,000 or 10,000 other professors, seem to have a problem with integrating this AI technology in with academics such that the integrity of academics remains sound.
Yes, I think that, as I said earlier, when we talk about the brand of historical black colleges and university, being matriculation friendly, known for mentorship, having systems in place for mentorship, and then when we come to academics, and we start talking about students and putting their work together and their writing, and then we're using learning management systems that have external tools, which shows how much of a paper is plagiarized. And what we try to express to the students. So let me just say this. If you go to some of the syllabus, the actual syllabus on the campus, the university has an AI policy right now. Okay. So we're not just talking about what we're going to do with AI. Meetings have been held. Those meetings have been held. and a conclusion came, and we can see the AI policy in place on those syllabi. Okay. So the students can see it in black and white, what each professor has to do in regards to the overuse of AI. Now, for my students in my class, I make it very clear, you won't be able to use AI because the writing assignment will not be designed in a manner where you can use it. I'm not interested in what someone else thinks. I'm not interested in an AI platform that creates sources that might not even exist. Okay?
Wow.
Because it can do that. Okay, we are just learning that there's certain things that AI platforms can do that a lot of people are not aware of. Okay? It can take sources from other papers that are similar and attach it to a student's work.
Wow.
Okay. But that doesn't change what constitutes plagiarism. Plagiarism is defined as an action in many ways in which you take work that is other than your own and present it as if it's your own when it's not your work. Okay, so that would still be in the realm of plagiarism. And that too is explained. Okay, so some students know, and more students are going to know as we continue these new policies that set at our HBCU, coming from academic affairs, that has been approved from the higher ups. So we are dealing with that. We have dealt with that to a certain extent. Now, as you know, there's going to be some new stuff coming out. Okay, so there's always some new stuff. As we speaking right now, somebody probably got an AI detective tool. In other words, they won't know it's AI. Okay. However, when you ask a student to do a paper, there are certain research questions that the student is supposed to answer. When certain things are, information is provided for that doesn't align with what the questions are, hey, even before we even had the learning management systems, we knew what plagiarism was. Okay, we was looking at people who were plagiarizing in academia and higher education for what? For almost over 100 years and getting caught. Because the words that are being used and the student, they don't align. There's not that alignment. You don't speak this way. Your
phraseology is different.
This is not you.
Right.
Who is this? Okay.
It's not you.
Where is this coming from? When I look this up, this is not coming from there. And then sometimes even with today, when a student send me something, sometime back before I even had an external tool, and I was at some other schools and they didn't have Canvas or Microsoft Teams or Moodle or one of the other, I just Google it and it just pop up. Information just pop up. So, we know what to do with that. Okay, we know what to do with that. But the goal is to make the student understand, not to be too punitive, to make them understand that we want them to do original research. As you know, right now we're at a point right now. We have our Research 2 status at Southern University. Many historical black colleges are trying to even reach Research 1. So we have some strategic goals at the institution that we're trying to reach, and it's just that time for everybody to come along. I don't want to sound too PC, but enough is enough with people who are talking about things that is not germane to Southern University. You take students not coming to class. Well, there are a lot of institutions where students don't come to class 100% or 75% or even 65%. Okay? There's a lot of institutions where students are struggling paying their what? Their fees.
Right.
Okay? We have a payment plan at the institution. Okay? We have a scholarship office that is manned. Okay? So when it comes to housing, we have a certain number of students who live in the Baton Rouge area who come to Southern University. We house a certain number of students on the campus. Plans for additional housing, future plans, all of those meetings have taken place already.
Right.
So in the future, there's going to be additional housing at Southern University. In the future, there will be additional parking at Southern University. There will be additional services to address mental health at Southern University. We have stepped it up on several different areas that a lot of people are not talking about. Okay?
Wow.
We have stepped it up on a lot of those different areas. Okay? And, I'd like to one day I would like to take people, we can take a camera, we can go on the campus, and I can show everyone some things that they might not be aware of. Okay, our library right now is really the cockpit of the institution in terms of research and providing services that students at every level can benefit from and service the community. So putting on events that is aligned with the African American community. Okay, you go to Southern University Archive today, and you're going to see these various collections of black educators who gave of themselves for the institution. Information about religious institutions in the archives. Okay, and what it took to maintain a historically black college that is underfunded, historically underfunded, and what we had to do, some of those challenges. Okay, So there's a lot of things we do. So when we tell people, when we ask people to give to our historical black colleges, we know that we need them to do so. Because what they don't know, that most people who donate to historical black colleges and universities, their money is earmarked. Okay, 90% of their money is earmarked. So this idea that you're going to give and your money is just going to be used any kind of way, that is far from the truth. The records don't show that. We appropriate that money toward what it's supposed to be allocated for.
Well, so what you're basically saying is that the administration of Southern is an honest user of the community resource, which is a good thing, and that's coming from somebody who's on the inside, who's looking at it and seeing how the resources are being allocated. Of course, I want to also emphasize that at Southern University, which according to the Biden administration, I believe over the past 20 years, 30 years, we've been underfunded by $1 billion, but we have been doing more with less for quite some time. We've been producing marvelous people that go out and do great things, highly intellectually powerful people.
That's true.
Now, people that make things happen in the state of Louisiana and elsewhere. We got Southern University graduates doing great things in Houston, great things in Dallas, great things in Atlanta, Miami. The list goes on and on. Southern University graduates are doing great things all over the place. Let's go ahead and take this call right quick. All right, go ahead, caller. You're on the air with the community defender.
Good evening, Brother Darren, and good evening to you, guests.
Okay, yes,
Dr.
sir.
Malvo, great information. A lot of what Dr. Malvo is talking about, I did not know about. And so that's great. As a person who didn't attend a four-year college, but do support what Southern University is doing, I have a question for Dr. Malvo. How much of a concern for him and the administration of Southern University with the recent administration in D.C. who want to now cut funding and even ask the university? I saw where a lot of these historical black colleges are rebranding their words such as DEI and changing it to something else in order to get by with not being sanctioned with less money. Now the thing is that affecting Southern, and how will Southern deal with that from what you might know about it? And also, I want to also talk about Louisiana being basically ranked in a lot of negativity when it comes to education. Just recently, the K to 12 grades ranking had came up to rank to 32. But it's kind of hard, Brother Darryl, for years and years and years, you can't even crack the top 20. So is this by design that education in Louisiana is basically at the bottom? And how would people of Southern respond to bringing those numbers up? So I do support Southern. And I'm sorry I'm saying some negative stuff, but these are the facts on the ground about what's going on, the external forces against colleges like Southern and the black kids in the state of Louisiana. Thank you guys so much. Take your answer off there. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Dr. Malvo.
I think the caller has made a valid point that, and that's what I was alluding to some of the external forces that are out there. And for years, Southern University leadership has tried to meet the state guidelines, or whether they agreed with some of the mandates or not. Many administrations have not been defiant in that respect. Mm-hmm. But one way we have dealt with these things is that we even had to, I guess, change some of our plans. So that's why it's so important for people to give to the institution. The more we can become less dependent upon those type of funds. Not saying we don't need them, because we need those institutional funds from the state. And as you know, African Americans represent over 34% of the state of Louisiana taxpayers. So we should be well supported in the state of Louisiana in terms of what the state gives to state institutions. And I just think that we have done as much as we can. But the politics, okay, it's not as if there weren't statements made about the U.S. Department of Education and how financial aid was going to be granted to students, disseminated to students in previous years. So the political climate, national political climate, and the state political climate, we have survived. We are survivors. We have sat there. Our leadership over the years have sat there and figured out a way. Okay, and I'm gonna say this, and I don't whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew or whoever, we have faith. We have faith. We believe that Southern University, because of what it does, and many HBCUs like it does, we believe that God has a plan for us. Okay.
Yes, sir, without a doubt. Go ahead, caller. Thank you for holding.
Yeah, great topic there, Brother Darrell. I'm glad to see you back in the studio. But look, I heard y'all mention about higher education. And I don't know if it's a promotion to get people to go back to Southern or whatever, but there will not be a higher education if we keep playing with these kind of people. You mentioned about political strategies they use against us, and we still begging them for the crumbs. I never heard y'all mention about learning about African history in themselves at these schools. It's always like we got to assimilate to what they want us to learn. And Mr. Melville, like I said, you said some good points, but you didn't explain about the system and what they're doing to all the black institutions that this government owns. And as long as we stay under these people, they have the full rights to tell us what we can and cannot learn and send the monies of what they think we need for us to learn to get our children to a better future. It's not about education as our next frontier. Our liberation is our true education. Because as you mentioned about AI is being put in place to take the black educated people's place. And that's what we're not understanding. Trump is showing us exactly what DEI hires are about. All his staff are white. And they are the real DEI hires. I don't hear one black educated people talking about his DEI hire who's only getting hired because of their skin color. You mentioned about the two congressmen who went to Washington that went to Southern. They haven't done nothing for black people. So every time we assimilate to what they want us to be, we are losing. We're not learning that. Their higher education is about them telling us what we can learn and calling it higher. And until we wake up and realize we are the smartest people on this earth being run by damn fools. And every time we give them permission or start to beg for the crumbs they want to give us, we lose. So keep talking what y'all talking, but put some names, put some institution that really is helping the black people, which is none that I see. Thank y'all and have a great night.
All right.
Thank you, caller. And of course,
now I'm gonna say this, brother.
Yes, sir.
Let me just say this, and I'm not trying to be on the defensive, but that's why it's important to have those direct questions. Now, I teach African history. I teach African American history. I've always taught African history and African American history with integrity. Okay, and I've never was never approached by anyone to change the way that I teach history, African American history, to students, because I want them to understand how we think and how other folks think within this society we live in. And so I'm gonna come back to that, but let's go get to this caller right
All
here.
right. Go ahead, calling on there with the community defender.
Yes, a fantastic program as always, Brother Jared. Thank you so much for having Dr. August Melville on. Dr. Melville, you came to Imani Temple number 49. You were the guest speaker at our Kwanzaa festival, and you brought up so much information that some of our people did not know, particularly about our Black history. I was wondering if at all, do you teach any history class, not at a full price that they be trying to get us to buy, but do you teach any history class for a lame person would like to take your class online, sir?
Well, one thing that I've been trying to work on is to do an African American history class for the community, and to get people who have your expertise in videotaping that, so that we can have some of those things available to our community without a price. I will do that, sister. Okay, so as long I would love to do that. I think that's a wonderful idea. And then we need to stop talking this talk and just be about action, like you're alluding to. And I would love to do that. So I would love to sit there and structure a class, maybe 15, 16 different lectures, have it videotaped, and have it available for people to listen to our history, our African history, our culture, our ma'at, okay, our philosophy, what we went through as a people, our ma'afa, okay, our African Holocaust. I would love to have a class based on that, my sister.
Yes, sir. I'm going to get in touch with Brother Jay and Brother Darrell again, and we really have to do this. I think it's so imperative. I know I learned a lot from your classes, and I was able to. We were in a classroom environment at UL, and I mentioned that Dr. Sims, who they consider father of medicine, was nothing but a hypocritical butcher. He took and he butchered Black women in their private parts, coming up with all kind of things so that other women could take the benefits and everything. And he was listed as the father of medicine. And when I told them that he was a butcher, they told me, oh, well, what you have to back that up? I said, well, I have Dr. Melville. I'm going to get in touch with him, and he's going to break it down for you in elementary terms.
All right.
Thank you so much, and peace be unto you. Please continue the great work you're doing, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And that's what we need. We need people around our young people that have a love for our young people.
Yes.
And want to see our young people succeed,
Yes.
and have a knowledge of self and a knowledge of your own history. Because we did so many great things. A lot of times history is confined to what we did or what happened to us once we were kidnapped and brought over here. But very little, a lot of time, is talked about prior to our fall into the hands of Western European forces. So it's a situation where we really need to learn that history. And history now is something that you study, okay, so that you can make more of it.
Right.
You understand? So it's not about saying so-and-so invented this, so-and-so invented that, and we just about everything. Every time you stop at a traffic light, that's black folks. All kinds of inventions. I mean, the way that oil circulates in the engine of a car, that was done by Mr. McCoy. So all of those things are. Go ahead.
And Brother Darrell and Dr. Melville, also you have Mr. Carver, who helped save a lot of farmers who invented numerous of inventions when it came down to the peanuts. When it came down to the peanuts, saved crops all over. And when you go into the store, you seen, oh, Jiffy, or this one did a peanut butter thing. You
Peter
don't
Pan.
even have nothing on Carver. And let's get something straight. Let's get something understood from your explanation, Dr. Melville. And Carver himself, who was a little weakly type of a little weakly kid. His white owners took him out of the field to make him a house person. And I don't want to use that other name, but that's the name that they use to make him a house nigger. And from that, made sure they were getting all kind of accolades from all kind of inventions. And you wanted to know, well, why Carver didn't have any children? Why didn't he make any children? An intelligent, black, handsome man. It was because the owners that took him in had him castrated, and that's what you need to know when it comes down to your history. Not that they were just good Southern slave owners. It was because they didn't want him around their kids unless he was castrated. So it took his manhood away from him, and he never once got a chance. Well, he couldn't make no children, but that's very important because it gives you A to B, you know?
That's right. That is correct.
Well,
Thank you so much, caller.
appreciate you. When we start talking about the real history of this country, and we start talking about the history of black people, which is the missing pages of American history and world history, people feel a certain type of way. Mm-hmm. For some, there's pain. For some, there's fear. For some, there's a sense of pride because we survived so much. Everything that was done to us, we still survived. We thrived. We thrived through the oppression, okay, mm-hmm. that people, but we have to be the guardians of our history. We have to be able to tell our story in a very unique way that our young people can understand. And it has an impact on the psyche of our young people. There's no subject that I've ever read across in my years as academician that had more of a profound impact upon the human psyche itself than history. How you see the world view.
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
What you're going to do. You're going to be a black man who look at the world through a white man's eyes. Okay? Make it make sense.
Yeah.
Or you're going to look at the world through your life experiences.
Absolutely.
We have so much going on in our community today, with mass incarceration that's taking place and a lot of it, when you delve into it, you see a lot of the young brothers who are out there don't have knowledge of self. So these classes that we mentioned earlier, mm-hmm. I don't have a problem doing those as long as it reach the people I wanted to reach.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, I'm just going to take this time to recommend a book that's nearly 100 years old called The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson.
Yes.
And Dr. Carter G. Woodson set something up to where in a week and then later on a month, we would go over the history, talk about the history, celebrate the history that we spent the other 11 months learning. People don't understand. It was set up for you to study black history all year round and then showcase it in that 1 month. Not that you would only learn about it. No, you for 11 months, we're supposed to be studying black history. And in that 1 month of February, we're supposed to do what? showcase that history. And I think a lot of times we miss what that was. Go ahead calling on that with the community defender.
Look, great job on that. But Dr. August, I'm going to call you a doctor, not to look like you read Dr. Amos Wilson. We are maladjusted. Explain that to us, how we have to be made look like something is wrong with us. How we got to make like something is definitely wrong with us for these white people to rule us. That is the problem. So explain what maladjustment means, Dr. Malvo.
Well, one thing that is for sure, and Dr. Amos Wilson, as he talked about maladjustment and he talked about the falsification of African consciousness and the development of the black mind and the outside forces that are out there to try to make us see the world the way those who are the oppressor want us to see the world. You know, African American people in this country, and I just give one example of this. You see black people in this country, one of the most oppressed people in this nation, and you see them trying to disguise their wealth by consumerism. They are the ones out there buying the Gucci. They are the ones out there buying the Louis Vuitton, the Marc Jacob, and you see the young people out there catching the buses, going back into the impoverished neighborhoods, the affordable housing areas, wearing all of this stuff, and none of this stuff is owned by black people. None of these companies have black people on the board. So we have to be about our business and for us, and we need to walk around with our eyes open. So when you start talking about we're in a position that we are not dealing with reality, or we are maladjusted, you know, it makes sense. We are. But the one thing about solving the problem is acknowledging that the problem exists. Okay? We have to acknowledge that there's something wrong with how we are looking at the world and our economic situation in some of these communities. Okay? Some people believe that if they're in a small community, if a corporation comes there, Popeyes or McDonald's or Burger King or whatever, they think that's progress. But truth of the matter is, those people, those corporations, after desegregation, they took the job away from the local black people who had restaurants. So since the local whites would have to compete with the local poor whites, would have to compete with the local poor blacks, then what winds up happening, they call corporate America. Some of our own people call corporate America to come in there, thinking that's progress, but actually they put black people out of business. That is not progress, okay? that is sickness. That's a sickness that we are dealing with, and I have to be a little PC because we on TV, right? We're probably on TV, you know? Okay, you know I can't go off the way I want to go off, but we on TV. But brother, I appreciate your comment, brother. Bless you, and brother, we have to meet, brother. One of these days, man, we have to meet. I don't know where we got to talk, brother. We have to talk.
Well, you know, Dr. Amos Wilson, may God be pleased with our brother. Was a brother who, from a very scholarly perspective, told it like it was. And even in what he said about the history of social work, how social work really was brought about to deal with Irish and Italian immigrants that were just off the chain when they were dropped off on these boats and had nothing, and how the government created the field of social work really to help lift them up, you know, to get them to where they need to be, but not really to help us, but to help European immigrants, and not really to help the people who had been in for 400 years. That's just what it was. Dr. Amos Wilson, through his research, brought a lot of things to light that I would definitely recommend people.
I have to bring me back, brother.
Oh, yes, sir.
Just
yes,
promise to bring me back, brother.
I will make that promise on air. I promise to bring Dr. August Malvo back to the Community Defender to share his wisdom and his perspective, all right? And but I wanted to have somebody on that knew what the hell they were talking about because you were doing the work. And I know that you are on that campus impacting the lives of our young people at Southern University each and every day. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, and why we will have you back, okay?
Okay.
So anyway, that we are, of course, coming to a close here at the Community Defender. Make sure you tune in where we will be coming back with another show. And there is a show that we did on education that we hope to air soon, that's kind of in the chamber, so to speak. And that was dealing with secondary education. And so